Yuji Itadori solo Jujutsu Society, the alien invasion, and tens of thousands of cursed spirits without even breaking a sweat. Dabura creates a black hole, and Tsurugi's heavenly restriction elevates the levels of Maki Zenin. The colored cover of Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo Chapter 20, titled Old Soldiers Never Die, features both Yuka and Tsurugi during their climactic showdowns, as Yuta and Mahoraga's rings intersect. A sort of clarification that the Gojo clan took the ring from Yuka because, in a manner of speaking, she already had one. Ahead of the chapter, we have the mini-comic, The Search for Yuji Itadori. Back when Usami had him searching for Yuji, the assistant didn't have any leads, although he did receive a call on his bracelet. A lady with dyed hair and a lip piercing cheerfully suggested that the two of them get together for a change. Somewhat miffed, Mino let the caller know that unlike her, he's busy running things. Besides, he knows she just wants to mooch off his pockets. She chuckled over being figured out, but at least hoped that he would buy her dinner. Mino agreed to do so some other time, and hung up. Meanwhile, she was actually in the middle of gambling with Yuji, claiming that a certain slot machine showed a lot of promise. But the youthful old man didn't think so. Now, for Yuji to be around them, and in a gambling den no less, this person is probably related to Hikari and Kirara. I mean, it is the future, so advancements in genetic engineering are to be expected. In Search for Yuji Itadori 2, an elderly Nobara let Mino know that Todo might know something about Yuji's whereabouts. Mino recognized the name of the former Grade 1 Sorcerer, but since Todo's location is also unknown, the assistant asked for her to connect them. Unfortunately, Nobara didn't have his information, so Mino wondered who he should ask. His brain short-circuited when she told him to ask Yuji. That was just going in circles. Nobara understood that, but ultimately, Yuji is the only person who doesn't hate the guy. So thanks to this, we know that Todo is still alive. And with the possibility of Dabura getting with the earthling nutritionist Kyoko, I can already imagine an elderly Todo asking him what type of woman he's into. In the present, Mino is in the middle of the street and shouted Yuji's name. The hooded sorcerer sighed after being found out, while overhead, a lone figure crashed through a window. He slammed down on Yuji with his axe, and the powerhouse casually caught it with one hand still in his pocket. It was as if the weapon were in a blender. A disbelieving Osuki wondered who the man was, and why his weapon couldn't so much as touch him. As Yuji cracked a finger like Kaneki Ken, the Rumelian warrior questioned why an earthling would have the aura of a Kalyan, which is to say, the aura of a god. Yuji figured that the alien looked pretty tough. Still holding the axe, he swiftly infused a fist with an absurd amount of cursed energy. Mino was stunned by the legendary sorcerer's precision. He couldn't even sense the man's cursed energy until it was already around his fist. Yuji told a sweating Osuki that he's sure he'll be able to survive a hit. The one chosen by the black sparks sent him flying, with a black flash on command. The first of this series, mind you. Yuji doesn't expect the alien to die. But even still, Osuki ragdolled from building to building to building to pavement, as like a modern day Yamcha. He was down for the count. But respect to him for not dying to this, and still being able to move after that piercing blood hit. Then, with a raised fist, Yuji called out to the man behind him. He launched a piercing shot of blood. It grazed Mino's cheek. Then the assistant's whole body lurched once it hit his bloodstream. He threw up immediately. Yuji explained to him that there are many unconscious sorcerers nearby, but he also told him not to worry about it. An upset but unharmed Miyaguni stood amongst several downed sorcerers. Yuji claimed that in time, it'll feel like they just caught a really bad flu, but they'll be fine if they rest for a few days. Then he remembered that the same message should be conveyed to the aliens as well. So despite his distance from things, he's actually quite informed. And since Miyaguni doesn't have a scratch on her, in my eyes, the likelihood of her being related to Megami and Hana has gone up. But despite the symptoms, Mino's rage kept him going. Again, he shouted the man's name, asking what the hell he's doing. Yuji paused. Thinking this was about his last comment, The old man added that it might look like prejudice if he only knocked out the aliens. Mino clarified his anger by asking why the hell the man was showing up now. That because he wasn't around to fight, Yuka had to sacrifice herself against Dabura. But abruptly, Yuji told him that it doesn't matter. Mino asked what he means by that. Like a certain someone long ago, the strongest sorcerer questioned who cares about Yuji Itadori anymore. Mino still didn't understand. Looking down at his missing digits, Yuji considered the saying that old soldiers never die, they just fade away. Regardless, he promised to handle the cursed spirits that leak out of Tokyo. And if Yuta's granddaughter loses, he'll handle that situation too. But as he clenched his fist, Yuji decided that all he'll do for now is ensure that nobody interferes with their fight. Or rather, both fights. Which again shows just how informed Yuji really is. Mino shouted that he won't forget or forgive the man. Walking away now, Yuji just laughed, as in that case, he might not be so lonely. A sentiment that's rather similar to that of his late mother, Kenjaku. And at that, Kenjaku really won by creating this guy. To himself, Yuji figured that this is for the best, all while treading the same path as his old master Gojo. To immediately solve each crisis himself would be to undermine the whole point of Gojo's issue with over-reliance on the strongest. Elsewhere, Dabura moved against Mahoraga. With newfound comprehension, Dabura concluded that when you multiply the inherently negative cursed energy with itself, you end up with positive energy, which causes heightened, explosive healing power. Concentrating, he wondered what might happen if he channels such energy into a cursed technique rather than use cursed energy. Mahoraga jolted at the phenomenon. Whole buildings and debris encircled him as he inverted his power. The inversion of light, being its total absence, created a void, a sort of black hole, as he questioned aloud what this cursed technique would be called on Earth. Its rapid adaptation against rapid learning. As with his new curse technique reversal, Dabura yet again has a chance at defeating Mahoraga. But understanding the Shikigami's nature, the Deskunte warrior knows that this time he'll need to beat him in one hit so he can't adapt. But he still needs to figure out how to do so. And I swear, if this man reinvents domain expansions, I am going to lose it. I mean, like Black Flash prior to this chapter, it's one of the major aspects of the previous series that we have yet to see in this one. And when a sorcerer is strong enough, they tend to be unavoidable insta-kills. From there, we have the hand-to-hand collisions of Maru versus Tsurugi and Rika atop massive, sprawling tree branches. The water from below surged up towards the Okotsu and rapidly froze over his arm. Maru sought to seize the opportunity, but jolted just as quickly. Unfettered, Tsurugi punched through the restraint and forced Maru to guard high. Tsurugi swiveled around with a follow-up punch that made the alien guard low. Rapidly opening and closing his left hand, Tsurugi exchanged a covert thought with Rika. The Queen of Curses agreed with his plan. After all, she enjoys a bit of nastiness, as Yuta was pretty ruthless himself. Tsurugi slapped a palm onto their organic footing. As from the shadows, he retrieved his grandmother's signature weapon, the Split Soul Katana. Maru was alarmed to see yet another mysterious piece of equipment, and something was clearly up with it. Rika told the boy to just swing the weapon as hard as he can, and she would further enhance his strength. Maru had no idea what they were up to. Then his eyes widened with dread. He spun, taking all three of his eyes off his stance-ready opponent, as in the distance, there were two large clusters of uncountable shapes. Each and every blip was a different cursed spirit. In fear of Dabura, they'd all begun a massive attempt at escape. With an outstretched hand, a desperate Maru begged them all to stay away. Meanwhile, Yuji was on a rooftop, lamenting the shabby job of the junior sorcerers in guiding the spirits. He assumes that they underestimated the sheer number of curses that multiplied without the Great Purification ritual. Although he couldn't really blame them, since this is an unprecedented situation. Tsurugi wound up his attack, while Yuji let loose a dismantle. The cursed spirits were met by double annihilation. The entire skyline had been cut in two, as two distant areas of Tokyo were overtaken by the fallout caused by the two attacks. A casual dismantle from Yuji was on the same level as a full-throttled, heavenly restricted, soul-splitting slash, further empowered by the Queen of Curses and decades worth of Yuta's immense cursed energy. Maru's third eye spewed a geyser of brain-jostling tears. As with the death of so many Kalyan-like creatures, the toll on his mind was immense, as even just a fraction of this would leave most Rumelians brain dead. Tsurugi rapidly pulled the blade back and reassumed his stance. Then he launched himself towards Maru, but the Rumelian warrior was still able to fight. Using rubble in lieu of his own diminished defenses, Maru managed to reduce the damage of what may have otherwise been a fatal blow. Tsurugi knew that the cut was too shallow. Tossing the block, Maru telekinetically beckoned across his sword with the same motion. Raising the blade, he told his former friend to bring it on. It's time to settle things, here and now. With that, alternating to an open palm stance, Tsurugi expressed his gratitude to Rika. Pausing for a moment, the cursed spirit wished him good luck. Then the mask of the Gojo clan's treasure clattered to the ground. Maru was shocked to see the release of the transformation. And now with a smile and Makishira Nuigata, the cursed energy fled from Tsurugi's system. Then, with perfect indifference, Tsurugi was within striking range before Maru could even process his movement. From there, all Maru could see was his own end. The binding vow to release the power made Tsurugi even faster. As if a soul-rending cut, blood splattered on a sign to indicate that there is no turning back now. Man, does it even need to be said at this point? Peak, 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 peak. What more could you ask for? Jujutsu Kaisen is shonen at its apex. If you are not feeling this, then it might be time for you to switch genres. And there has not been a sequel this good since Dragon Ball Z. And that was in the 90s, so please, in the comments, let me know if we are on the same page here. As always, I'm Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.